You are casting spells every time that you speak. Why do you think it's called spelling? The Archons turned your own voice into a programming tool for the prison. Every word in the dictionary is a piece of the archonic code that was designed exactly to define your reality within their limitations. This is the Gnostic teaching on the language of the lie from the Gospel of Philip. And this is what informs us on how the demiurge used the word in order to stabilize his false creation, why language itself is archonic technology that traps consciousness in conceptual prisons, and how every time that you speak, you're unconsciously reinforcing the matrix through the linguistic programming that the ancient Egyptians understood as literal magic, which is why we call it spelling, because words literally cast spells that shape reality. Oh yeah, and if you're interested in learning more about Gnosticism and other mystery traditions like Kabbalah, Rosicrucianism, and Hermeticism, make sure to hit the link in my bio because the doors to the inner sanctum are opening for a limited time very soon, so if you're interested, make sure to click the link. And now that you're ready, let's start with the demiurge's weapon. So the Gospel of Philip states this explicitly: names given to worldly things are very deceptive, for they divert our thoughts from what is correct to what is incorrect. Thus, one who hears the word God does not perceive what is correct, but perceives what is incorrect. Language is the demiurge's primary control mechanism. When Yaldabaoth created the material world, it was chaotic and unstable, matter constantly threatening to dissolve back into the void, so he needed to solidify it, to make it persistent, to lock consciousness into believing that this false creation was real. He used the word, not the divine logos from the pleroma, but a corrupted imitation. Words that define, limit, separate, and categorize. By naming things, he made them solid. By creating language, he gave humans a tool that would trap them in his conceptual framework every time they used it. The Gospel of Philip explains this. The names which are heard in the world for the purpose of deception. If they were in the eternal realm, they would at no time be used as names in the world. Language only exists in the material realm. The pleroma has no words because truth is known directly. You don't need to call something love when you are love. You don't need the word light when you exist as light. And language is the symptom of separation and of consciousness that's been cut off from direct knowing, and it must use symbols instead to point at what it can no longer perceive directly. And I'm shocked that so many people haven't heard this before, but this is why it's called spelling. And that's because the English language preserved the truth in plain sight. You arrange letters, cast a spell, to create words that define reality. Spelling is not a metaphor. It's a literal description of the magical operation you perform every time you speak. Ancient Egyptians, they knew this. Their hieroglyphs weren't just communication, they were heka or magic, the power to shape reality through symbolic representation. Speaking and writing were acts of creation, of making the unseen visible, of binding consciousness to specific forms through linguistic definition. Now the phrase spell it out means make something explicit, to bring it into manifestation through language. Now cast a spell means use words in order to affect reality. Under a spell means controlled by linguistic programming. The terminology itself reveals what's happening beneath the surface. Language as sorcery, words as reality shaping technology.